Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Keima Corner. Now, today we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a post-game show for one of the games I just had on my personal account. If you ever see this account here, Inazuna, that's also me. Anyway, as you can see here from the progress bar, Black was in the lead for a solid chunk of the game, but we managed to take control for honestly a pretty big gap at the end there, but enough talking about the progress bar. Let's get into the actual game. So, the game starts off pretty simple. My opponent takes two 4-4 corners, I take two 3-4 corners. He goes for a reduction, so I go for a kicking move. He climbs, I think that's the right term. I block. He does a turn. I make a tiger's mouth. He jumps. I make a diagonal attachment to the jump. I think that's the shoulder hit. He extends, I extend. He makes a jump over towards the top star point in the center. I cut into the middle of his two groups, because there's a wide gap between those two stones, so there's plenty of room for me to play around with. He jumps, I follow. He jumps from that stone. I make a pretty large jump there. Probably shouldn't have made a jump that huge, but we'll see how that plays out. Knight's move. I connect. Now, I honestly was not expecting him to extend that way. I really thought he was going to play here, and then I was going to do that, but he did that instead. So, I make the connection. He puts my stone in Atari. I climb up. He follows. I extend up again. He connects there, so I turn, and then he makes the connection there. And here's where I make a mistake in the game. I probably should have played this first, and then he might have played there, and I could play here. And then we probably would have gotten something like this going on, and things could get a bit complicated. I could ignore the top and just try to take those stones, actually. So yeah, I would still need to make that, and then if he played there, I just do this. Or maybe he would just connect here, and I would just make that play there. And then maybe we'd see something like this play out. I don't really know how good this would be as a situation, but maybe something like that could play out. I don't know. I'm not good at reading what my opponents would do. But instead of trying to go for something like that, I go for that, not realizing this group was in Atari. My opponent captures. I messaged him in the game being like, how did I miss that? So that was a big fault of ours. We made a mistake. We lost a really heavy group right there, and now Black has some really solid territory that is dividing most of our stones. So we just get into this capturing race here. We end up here where the stones are in Seki. Whoever plays here first loses their group, dual life. I don't fall for it, I go for the tiger's mouth. And I rescue myself from Seki. So now this group here is dead. I don't have to worry about this group anymore. Uh, if he wanted to attack this group here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liberties versus 2. So I'm good to play away now. So we start playing towards the corner a bit. Alright, so here's where black made... Well, no, here's where I made a mistake. The game says that I should play over here. I didn't. I protected the cutting point. Honestly, that tiger's mouth, very unnecessary, because even... let's say if I played here... That tiger's mouth was unnecessary. I made a defensive move that I didn't need to make, and it actually cost me the lead. So we start playing around here, and I'm just pushing off to the side, trying to reduce his influence in the center and trying to get some sort of control over in this area. I get him in this double Atari here. I expected him to maybe block here, let me take that stone. He'd, I don't know, maybe defend there, and then I could push a little more. Instead, he just blocked the cutting point, so I just take those stones. No reason not to. I make the 3-3 invasion. We play pretty typical. He attacks that group for some reason. I attack the corner. And then he plays there. He plays that cutting point, which gets us into a ladder type situation. No need to worry there. I cut into the corner some more. And then I try to reduce, his little influence in that area, gain a couple points. End up getting this group here captured, and now we're decently in the lead. We just keep filling things out. He starts to block me on that side. He makes the jump to that star point. So, I Hane, extend. I go to put that stone into Atari. I manage to get the Atari. Then I Atari that stone. I probably shouldn't have done that, because that just gave me more dead stones, because he makes that move. So now I have to make the choice. Do I kill this stone and lose these two, or do I save these two stones and lose this one? And in losing this stone, I also lose those stones. But, I mean, I guess I could have done this. Yeah, no, doing that would have been bad for me. So yeah, I make the right call, and just letting him take that stone to keep the solid wall on the side there. Just keep him from invading into my territory. He plays against that stone, which honestly wasn't really necessary. I Hane, I do the tiger's mouth, solidify the territory. He invades there, so he's wanting to capture those 3 stones. I don't let him. He climbs, so I just attach on top. Nothing he can really do. Like, yeah, he could play here, and then I would do this. And now, look at that. Oh my goodness, this group is now completely dead, which we actually do get to a point similar to that in the game. So he played there, and I just play on top, because now, if he plays here, I play here, which is what happened in the game. Or if he were to play here, I would just play there. So, like I said, we got into a situation similar to that one example I showed. Didn't take very long for that to happen. He blocks there for some reason. I wasn't even thinking about that spot. I solidify the 2 eyes. We start fighting for the top a bit. And honestly, things go pretty standard. we get into this situation where I easily get 2 eyes in the corner. Don't have to worry about that corner anymore. He keeps me from being able to push in, which was good on him, because if he did not block this spot, if he, let's say, attacked this stone, I could have played here, and then this would have probably happened. So he was smart to not let that happen. And then I make this cut here. And this cut is very important because this leads to where I could have had a better play. So, I like this stone because, if he plays there, I push up, Atari. Or if he had protected this way, he would have been in Atari. When I played that stone here, yeah, I mean, if he connected here, same difference. Did not matter what he did, these stones were dying if he made that connection. So we get to this situation. So I just take those stones. I put that stone into Atari, which allows me to play here. And this is close to where I mess up. So he makes that play there. I play here. And honestly, he should have just played this. Like, he could have played that, and everything would have been in his favor, really. I mean, like, wouldn't even have to do this, he could have just captured here. Like, him playing at 1 there would have ruined a lot of my plans. I mean, I guess I could have... Yeah, I mean, it probably would have ended up in this situation here, which would have been very useful for him. But instead, he plays there. And honestly, I could have ignored that. Because... Well, no, I couldn't, because I only have 1 liberty. So yeah, I had to capture there. He forces me to fill it in. And this is where I make the mistake. He played this stone here, and I captured it. Those stones. Didn't need to capture those stones whatsoever. When he played there, I should have just played here, because I still had 2 liberties. He would have had to fill this in first, and then I could have done that. But instead, I capture, and I missed that opportunity. And then the game continues on. I really liked this move, because if he played here, I would then just play here. Actually, no, that would have turned out better for him. But yeah, we trade 2 stones for 3. Just start filling in some of the neutral territory. He tries to get 2 eyes in the corner. I don't let him. Yeah, I don't know why I played that stone. I honestly did not need to play that. But I also just couldn't think of any better moves. Maybe here to threaten that. And this is where the game ends. And when we look at the estimated score, I mean, it's up here anyway, but it's a decent win for White. But yeah, what did you think of the game? And as always, the link will be in the description now that we can do that. And again, I probably won't do this a lot, but here we are, the personal vault. This is a really fun game I had, actually, and I would love to share this with as many people as I can, which is why I decided to put it on the channel, even though it's not the Keima Corner account.